Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series for the 25th of July, 1987, and we are quickly approaching the month of August. We are quickly approaching the close of summer over the next month, and this is usually the stadium time for the area. Some pretty cool matches here this week. Specifically, Texas Red, otherwise known as The Undertaker, versus the Spoiler, Don Jardine, who actually is the impetus for the Undertaker walking the ropes spot. So it's really kind of cool to see these two go at it. Texas Red, of course, with the management of Percy Pringle. Believe it or not, Red does take over on his adversary pretty well here, and Taker's not here very long. He does not stay very long at all. So Jardine walks up the ropes a bit and with a big slam on Taker, and that's kind of what's there as far as that's concerned. Very, like I said, basic match. But, Taker actually hangs himself over the top rope, and Spoiler manages to get a strike or two, and then almost looks like he's going to jump to the... Spoiler almost looks like he's going to jump to the outside of the ring, break down where the Spoiler manages to brawl with his adversary a bit. Texas Red tries to choke out and gouge the eyes out of his opponent, which may not be nice, but is effective nonetheless. Big shot to the midsection. Spoiler gets nailed with it, and Texas Red tries to go for the body slam, doesn't get all he wants on that tag or shoulder tackle off, and Spoiler heads to the top rope in a hurry. Comes off with the flying clothesline that Taker would use later in his career. And a 1, 2, 3 count would be had. Referee is able to declare the Spoiler the winner. And then we move on to match number 2. Skip Young and Steve Simpson versus the Dirty White Boys. Tony Anthony is one of them. And so, we kind of see Skip Young take over. Young and Simpson have teamed before. Dirty White Boys managed by Percy Pringle on the outside. So Pringle Pringle keeps moving through talent. I don't know if that's good or bad if you're a manager. If you're constantly moving through talent, maybe you're not doing a whole heck of a lot for him. But Skip Young goes with the headbutts and around the corner and all that. All that comes with that. Meanwhile, the Dirty White Boys try to gain their bearings, don't get everything they want out of that situation, but get enough. Shots into the Dirty White Boys corner. They take over for a bit, and Tony Anthony looks amazing here. If you've never seen Tony Anthony in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which I'm thinking Smoky Mountain, I may just finish the Smoky Mountain series that I already started before I decided to go and do World Class. I may do that next. I may finish Smoky Mountain next. That's a 215 episode series, so shorter than this one, because they only have a 4-year run, 92 or late 91 to the end of 95, so almost 4 years. Anyway, Steve Simpson back in and manages to go to town on his adversary, and then shots by Tony Anthony. Anthony tries to break things down. Cross body for near fall by Simpson. Anthony and everybody's in the ring for a while there. Anthony is, however, able to cheat to get the victory, and that is that. Then we do a several minute suggestion on the taping of the program, the video editing, and everything that goes along with that. I think they were trying to make things A, seem important, but also B, kind of show people the behind the scenes. they actually show the camera editing and the floor director and all and the sound staging and all of that. So trying to make it into a bigger production. Really, actually, a pretty cool segment for 1987 standards. And if you're into video editing and all that, it might have been cool even today. But anyway, Al Perez and Tony Atlas for the Texas title up next. Perez, of course, managed by Gary Hart. Texas title is something that Perez is trying to hold on to. Tony Atlas would be a good Texas champion. I think Atlas has been miscast, misused here. I would put more into Tony Atlas if I were in the situation. However, he may have been struggling with his addiction-related issues by this point in the 80s. I know he was by the time he came to Maine, where he would stay after a world-class run. But anyhow, in the years that follow this. So, very basic match. Tony uses power. Perez is doing a lot of up and over and kind of a little all over the place. Shots, though, by Perez. Perez manages to drop some knees, take a few cheap shot kicks, and get everything he wants out of Tony as quickly as he can. Front face lock and drives Tony back to the buckle. Tony manages to come out with more brawling maneuvers and a hip toss. And kind of there, shot by Tony Atlas, double shot by Atlas as well. And then we go seeing as Perez, who's doing a lot more selling than he normally does in this particular match. I think there was maybe some talk of putting the Texas title on Tony. I don't know the legalities or the nature of that, and I haven't read the observers from that time period. Would love to get the 80s and early 90s run of the observers just for the historical context as I do these old things. There's so many questions I have. Anyway, abdominal stretch, and Perez manages to use the ropes for the abdominal stretch, manages to try to chin lock his way through the match, and Tony hits him pretty good. This is not a classic match, but at the same time, from a psychology standpoint, since this is pro wrestling logic, I'm a major fan of this match because they do tell a good back and forth story. You actually do believe for the majority of the match that Tony Atlas has a pretty good shot at winning. Tony Atlas does have a weapon in hand, and I believe it's a fork. I'm not necessarily sure, but he does have the weapon in hand. Atlas, however, does find himself not winning the championship, but he does manage to have a really good showing for himself. Then we see a personality profile on the Simpson brothers. Really short version of that story. Sean Simpson just turned 18, comes over from Africa, wants to do what his brother is doing, and they are going to be a tag team from here on out. That is the simplest version. Bruiser Brody and Abdullah the Butcher are up next in kind of a street fight environment. There is a bucket of some sort, a wooden bucket with what appears to be tin lids and almost like a gas can type of thing. Brody hits Abdullah with it several times in the head. Abdullah's busted open pretty quickly. Abdullah also needs better fitting pants. He is there is a point when he is down selling that he is coming out of his pants. Gary Hart, of course, endorsing Abdullah the Butcher. The Abdullah probably, other than Japan, world class may be one of the most common places to use Abdullah. Brody comes into the ring via the top rope. Brody uses a top rope fist drop / clothesline to maintain an advantage. Gary Hart is upset on the outside as it is taking Abdullah quite a bit to try to get an advantage over Brody. Obviously, these guys have been warring back and forth for several years. They still draw a crowd. As much as Abdullah is not my cup of tea, he is the cup of tea of many people in the area because he continues to come out. Both guys are bleeding. Brody comes up bleeding now, and we see several kicks and stomps by Brody. We then see a shot to the midsection by Abdullah. Abdullah manages to take a few cheap shots, and they brawl around the outside of the ring, and the brawling continues throughout the rodeo-style arena. Fans are not blocked off, so they're chasing after the wrestlers. Needless to say, the match is deemed inconclusive. But there is the use of a steel chair as we close the month of July here in World Class in 1987.